In Dragon Ball Super episode 97, there were some reused animations. Now, these are called bank animations that the studio will save up in order to use later down the road just to fill in gaps in episodes. Now, a lot of you guys may be asking, why not just make whole new animations? So the purpose of this video is to educate the community and tell you guys a little bit about the cost and the difficulties of animation to explain why companies will do stuff like this. Now, I know some studios do not do it, but Dragon Ball has done it notoriously. If you didn't know, they did it quite often in Dragon Ball Z. It is not a rare thing. Hey guys, before I get into my rant here and my education process, I just want to say the countdown for Kamea-Con's ticket sales will begin tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time. The website and tickets will be available Monday, and a code will be provided so fans can get a discount on early ticket prices. Once tickets are gone, they're gone. Okay, and that's good because when I was at Anime Expo, they sold 115,000 tickets, and it was just a complete mob in there. Like, you couldn't do anything. So Kamea-Con is going to be different than that. They have a finite number of tickets, so you're going to want to make sure that you buy it as soon as you can and get the discount. Basic VIP packages will also be available for pricing and details, so stay tuned to their Facebook and their website. There will be a large amount of announcements coming out next week. I've included their Twitter and their Facebook in the description. I'll also pin it as the top comment, so make sure you go check that out. All right, let's talk about this. How long does it take you to draw and color a full picture? An hour? 2 hours? Okay, now what you have to realize is that in animation, there's 24 pictures per second. Now, obviously, they don't always do 24 frames a second. Typically, it's 12 frames a second, but that still means that 1 second of animation comes out to something like 12 to 24 hours of work for actual animations. We're not talking about still frames. So for this little animation that was reused of Android 17 throwing a punch, it's actually 20 frames. That means that would take a single artist somewhere between 20 to 40 hours, which is like an entire week. And that animation is in there for less than a second. An entire week of work for less than a second of animation. If you're paying the artist $20 an hour times 40 hours, that equals $800. $800 for less than a second of animation. Additionally, all of that time it takes to produce that 1 second takes out of other spots from the episode. Every episode is broken down and has teams of different artists and animators essentially working together, and they cycle it every 6 weeks for Dragon Ball. Even Toei Animation, which has hundreds of people working under it, outsources to other companies to do episodes for them. So one of the things you guys have to realize is that there's literally upwards of potentially 2,000 people working on an anime. Okay, now I'm not saying all animes are like that, but it has been done in the past. So with that many people, and you're paying that many people to produce the anime, it gets ridiculously expensive, and it gets ridiculously time-consuming and exhausting on the artists. The reason why I loved episode 97 so much was because there was so much animation in there. Typically in anime episodes, you'll see a lot of still frames of talking, but episode 97, once the tournament began, was literally almost pure action. A lot of movements, tons of different pictures, tons of redraws of frames. Now, another fact you may not know is that an anime can have upwards of 15,000 pictures in one episode. So ask yourselves, how long would it take you to draw and color 15,000 pictures, and how much would you have to get paid in order to sit there and actually do that? This is why they reuse animations here and there, guys. They probably killed themselves on this episode, and in order to save costs and speed up the process, they reused a couple quick animations that they had in the past. They used bank animations so that they can finish the episode faster and more efficiently. Otherwise, that punch, if they would have redone it from scratch, since they're always rushed to get these episodes out on time, probably would have looked like crap. So instead, they use a very clean, well-polished animation from the past in order to fill in some gaps and help themselves out. Now, a lot of people ask me, why don't you release episode 5 of Anime War already? What are you doing? Why is it taking so long? Guys, I'm one guy. Like, these companies have thousands of people helping them. They have the money. They have millions of dollars that they can outsource to other companies, even in other countries, to make episodes for them. Okay, I'm like a team of 5 to 15 people. The animators come and go, and it's incredibly difficult to even make one full full-length episode of Anime War. Okay, like I have to literally kill myself. But that's why you'll see things like me reusing animations. And a lot of people, they give me slack for it. Oh, you just reused animations. But those animations, I don't have a team of colors and a team of in-betweeners and, you know, different like floors of departments that are all going to handle the different aspects of the animation for me. So when I spend a week doing a single 1-second animation, I'm going to use it again. Like, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to use it again. But I can totally understand where Toei is coming from. And I can understand that you guys, a lot of you have the opinion, well, they have millions of dollars, they should be able to do it. But Dragon Ball did this in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, there's plenty of episodes where they reuse the same animations 2, even 3 times sometimes. And nobody complained back then, but now all of a sudden people are complaining. And what I really think it comes down to is just the lack of education. People really don't understand how hard it is to make anime. It is incredibly, incredibly difficult and puts a ton of stress on the employees, the workers, the artists, like everybody who works. They grind to the bone to make these episodes. And it honestly, it kind of makes me sad that people just jump the gun and they just point fingers and they criticize. You know, it's very, very easy for people to just sit back, watch anime, point a finger and criticize. And it's very, very underappreciated. I mean, anime is incredibly underappreciated. And I just want you guys to realize the amount of money and time and effort that goes into these animations to bring them for you guys. And a lot of people just sit there pointing fingers and criticizing Super. Super gets criticized all of the time. Now they are improving. You know, obviously in the beginning they had some difficulties. They hadn't worked on Dragon Ball in 20 years, but I mean, you can tell that the animations are getting better. Their process is getting cleaner. And I mean, I just give them a break, guys. Honestly, like, it's really disappointing to me that not only Super, but fan animators on YouTube, and I'm not talking about myself. There is a lot of fan animators on YouTube that get heavy criticism from people who can't animate. And what I really like you guys to do is, before you criticize, at least try some animation first. Like, at least understand the perspective of the animator and why they do certain things and how difficult it is before you just start criticizing their work. It's just really saddening to me that, you know, animation is just one of the most difficult, grueling, and time-consuming tasks that requires an unbelievable amount of dedication. I mean, even for most fan animations, you're probably going to see at least a few hundred redrawn pictures. And that, you know, to have somebody sitting there on their tablet, just grinding day after day, not going out with their friends, not enjoying their summer because they're home on their tablet, you know, working like their butt off to make this animation, and then they post it and immediately people criticize it. Now, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to criticize it. You're allowed to criticize anything you want. But what I'm asking you is try to criticize it from the animator's perspective. Like, try to learn yourself how to animate, or just practice a little bit before you go and criticize. And I think you should kind of approach anything that you criticize from that fashion. Like, if you've never cooked before, but you go to a 5-star restaurant, taste the food, and tell the chef that his food sucks, like, you look like an idiot. I mean, these people are the pros in the world. Like, Japan is well known for animation being one of their cash crops. I think even more so than movies over there. So, you know, when people just sit there and criticize it, it just really disappoints me, because when I see these things, and, you know, I understand it because I'm an animator, but when I see like episode 97, I'm just like absolutely blown away. But other people, you know, point out reused animations, and they just completely toss out all of that hard work that all of those people put into creating this beautiful episode, and just throw it out the window because they're criticizing a few seconds of reused animation just to make the episode smoother and flow better. Honestly, I give them zero slack for reusing a few animations. They don't do it often. They used high quality animations from the past. No big deal. I mean, it's really not a big deal. You know, these people are trying their best. Whether you realize it or not, they are trying their best, and they are working their butts off. And these animations cost anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 to make per anime episode. And I believe in the US, it's way higher than even that. You know, when I went to Anime Expo this last weekend, they had the 30th anniversary for Final Fantasy, and I got to watch one of the most famous artists for Final Fantasy actually do a live drawing. And I was sitting there for 2 hours as he's just drawing the line art for the thing. You know, 2 hours for line art. Now, Take a look at Notoshi Shida. Here are some keyframes of stuff that he's done. He is one of the more well-known animators over at Toei Animation. I can guarantee you that to draw any one of these single keyframes probably took him at least 2 hours. I mean, the detail and everything is just unreal. I mean, first you got to sketch it out, then you got to do the line art, then you got to do the shading, and it takes a long, long time. And I mean, even if you're not Notoshi Shida, it's still going to take you a long time. And these people are putting in their best. I mean, they're really doing their best. And I think a lot of the disappointment from the community is that people figure that since Toei has millions of dollars, they should be doing better. Maybe so, but I don't think that that's any reason to just throw out all of the hard work that all of those people are putting into to make Dragon Ball Super for you guys. I mean, I'm talking about ridiculous amounts of money and ridiculous amounts of work, people slaving to the bone for you guys. And it's just really not fair for people to just point fingers and criticize them and throw all of that hard work away. What I want you guys to take away from this entire video is respect. I think, in any sense of creation, whether it's a video game or it's animation or it's a movie, yes, you can criticize, but please keep in mind the amount of hard work that people put into creating these things. I thought it was really funny when I was at Anime Expo and I was at that 30th anniversary party for Final Fantasy. The producers over at Final Fantasy took questions. The very first question that was asked is, when is the next Final Fantasy? And I laughed hysterically because, I always get asked, when is the next Anime War episode? And you could see the face on the producer cringe as he was asked that question. It seems like people, they consume so quickly and they don't comprehend the amount of work that goes into creating such beautiful pieces of art. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this is the next time before you criticize an animation or a video game or something like that, try to recognize and realize how hard it is to even create something like that in the first place, especially for YouTube fan animators. Like, whenever I see a fan animation on YouTube, even if it's bad, I'll still tell them it's good and to keep it up and to keep trying because people can improve as well. And even if you think the animation is bad or something like that, you gotta respect the amount of work that went into creating it. You gotta respect that while you're over here playing video games and stuff, this person who created this piece of art or video game or whatever it is, slaved over their computer or their tablet or their pen and paper, or whatever it is, slaved over it for months potentially to create such a piece for you to consume in minutes, and that's the thing I want you guys to take away from this video is respect. And ultimately, I respect Toei Animation. I think they're getting a lot better. I really do think Dragon Ball Super is getting better. I think the Tournament of Power is really good so far. And I think they're refining their processes. So the next time you criticize an animation or you rush somebody to release their next video game or next episode, realize that for like animations, you're talking about upwards of 15,000 pictures per episode. You're talking about $300,000, and you're talking about people who are literally working day in and all night without sleep in a lot of cases. I know I don't sleep when I'm animating, just to bring, a few minutes of animation for you guys. It's that hard to make it. And I really hope that you guys can take away from this video the respect for the amount of dedication that it takes in order to create these things. Thanks, guys. And tomorrow I will have a very, very big video for y'all. A very big theory video. You're not going to want to miss it. Trust me. Have a good one, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.